Good afternoon, everybody. It's Martha again, and I'm here to do another little instructional or informational video to go with my series of videos on makeup and skincare and whatnot. I do want to add that I am not a professional makeup artist, but I have been wearing makeup for over 40 years, and I have learned a thing or two over those years. When I was in the 6th grade, I took part in some charm classes, and one of the subjects that we talked about was basic skincare and makeup application. Now, even though I was too young to start wearing makeup at that time, I remembered what we were taught, and so when I was old enough to wear makeup, I could put those tips into practice. I've also had my makeup done professionally a few times, like, by it was either Clinique or Estee Lauder. That was a long time ago. I can't remember. I also had my makeup done professionally at the Elizabeth Arden Salon in New York City when I went on a trip to New York with some friends, and that was a whole lot of fun. They did a facial and full makeup, and they did my hair, and that was really a lot of fun. And then last November I had my makeup professionally done at Sephora, and when you have your makeup done, they were telling me all these different tips and tricks and what all they were doing, so I learned things from them. When I had my makeup done at Sephora last fall, and she did a nice job, but she didn't do anything that I couldn't do at home. She didn't do anything, just really fancy or over the top, just basic makeup application. I got it done free because I had used my Sephora card. It's not a charge card, it's just one of those little savers cards, and I was able to move up to the next level, and one of the little extras that I was able to do was to get my makeup done for free there at Sephora, and so that's how I got it done there. Like I said, she did a good job, but I could have done just the same, or maybe even better, to be honest with you. So I'm not trying to be, braggy there, but that's just kind of the truth. But anyway, over the years I have learned, and I've kind of studied and researched and just, picked up some tips and tricks and little, ideas and tidbits here and there. So, those basic tips and tricks, they never do go out of style, even though there's lots of new techniques and new tools and new products. The basic ideas are always still very very much very much usable today. We're going to start out talking a little bit about primers. Now, you want to have your skin clean and moisturized before you do your makeup every day, and exfoliate your skin on your face at least once a week. If it happens to be really dry and flaky or whatever, you might want to do it twice a week with a gentle exfoliator, and then make sure, of course, that you use a lightweight moisturizer after you get done exfoliating and rinsing your face. And then after you have your clean face and your moisturizer on, you'll want to use your primer. I just started using primers about 1.5 years ago, and I really noticed a difference with the primer, that the makeup goes on easier and it really lasts a lot longer with the primer. And there's different kinds of primers available. I think there's a spray primer that you just spritz on your face and on your neck, and I haven't tried one of those, but I do know that there are some of those available. I have used other primers, and I'm going to go over these products and these videos I'm going to be doing, and everything I'm going to be using is going to be drugstore products. makeup can be expensive, and there's really good drugstore products available. Not everybody can, afford to go out and buy high-end items. And, drugstore products make it a little bit more doable for, women to go out and purchase and be able to use these products without spending a lot of money. Another tip for any makeup or any skincare product or anything that you buy, when you go to the Walmart or CVS or wherever, keep your receipt and make sure that that store accepts open returns. That way, if you take the product home and you use it and you don't like it, or something, something's wrong with it or whatever, you can take that product back with your receipt and either exchange it or just return it. So make sure you keep your receipts and make sure that store will accept open returns, okay? And that way you won't be, stuck with something you can't use or you don't like. Okay, going on now with the primers. I'm going to start out with this little baby skin from Maybelline. It's actually a pore eraser, or you can call them pore fillers. This is a primer, but it's like more specifically for areas where you might have large pores. This is something that you would just tap onto your finger, put a little bit of the product on your finger, and press into those pores rather than just spreading it all over your face. You want to take the pore eraser or the pore minimizer or the pore filler, whatever it's called, put a little product on your fingers and then press it into those pores, into that area. You could even use like a beauty blender or a sponge to press those pore eraser, pore fillers into the areas where you might have enlarged pores, and let that set a little bit. Then you could just go ahead and use a little bit more all over your face, or you can use a different kind of primer. My favorite primer is actually this Photo Ready primer by Revlon. They have two different formulas. I can't remember what the other one is, but this one is a color correcting formula, and it does come with a pump. I really, really like the Photo Ready primers by Maybelline. I've tried both of them, and they are my favorite ones. They're a little bit higher than other primers that you can get at the drugstore, but it's good quality. I do like the Wet n Wild primer too, and it's white, and it's just in a little squeezy tube, and it works just wonderfully. I really like it. And to put on your primer, you want to put a little bit of the primer, on your fingertips, and start with the nose and just kind of work out like that, and get all the areas that you're going to be using foundation on, and get that nice and blended. You can use a damp beauty blender or sponge if you want to. And for primer, I just use my fingers. And another kind of primer I have that I do really like is the Master Prime by Maybelline. And this is a blur and redness control. And this one is in a black tube, but it has like a mint green little like areas here where it's where the printing is, and the product is actually kind of a mint green. I don't know if you can really tell with the lighting here. They have another primer too that's white, but I like this one. That is the light green. It's a color corrector, and it's supposed to help even out any odd colors you may have, like a little redness or whatever. I really like this one too. I think that's all the primers I've got right here. I have several that I use off and on. I kind of interchange them. But I think you will find that using a primer before you use your foundation really helps the foundation to go on smoothly and evenly, and it does help that makeup, that foundation, to last all day. There is also eyeshadow primers. There's primers for your lashes. There's a primer for everything, it seems like. But they're really, really good products, and if you haven't tried them, you might want to give them a try. A good thing that you can also do, or another thing you can do with a white primer is if your foundation is just a little too dark, you can add a little bit of the white primer to that foundation to lighten it. But you have to make sure you're using a white primer, not the green and not the clear, because that won't do what you want it to do. A little white primer with that foundation that's too dark, kind of mix it in there a little bit, and it'll help to lighten that foundation and, you know, make it maybe that you can wear it a little bit better than you would if it was too dark. I hope that that is everything I want to tell you about right now about primers. When you do use your primer, after you get it, you know, blended in, you want it to kind of rest or settle for about, I'd say, 30 seconds or so. Make sure it's set and kind of gets settled or dried a little bit before you put on your foundation. So again, you know, if you don't use a primer, you might want to give it a try. Any of these drugstore products are really, really good. And I hope that you will give them a try. All right, everybody, just stay tuned for more videos, and I hope you enjoyed this little video on primers. Remember, Jesus loves you, and I do too. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.